I am calling this meeting of the Town of Silver City Council to order. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. The first item on the agenda requiring action is proclamations. And since Saturday, September 17th, 2016, is Silver City's first annual Gay Pride celebration with the slogan, "Stand up, stand out, and stand proud," the town would like to recognize this with a proclamation. Susan Golightly will accept the proclamation. Ready? Whereas the organization LGBTQ Grant County will be presenting Silver City's first annual Gay Pride celebration with the proud slogan, "Stand up, stand out, and stand proud." And whereas the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ community has been an integral and contributing part of the Silver City Grant County community for many years. And whereas the slogan, "Stand up, stand out, and stand proud," reflects the proud diversity that has always characterized the Silver City Grant County community. And whereas the Gay Pride celebration is a way of recognizing the contributions the LGBTQ community has brought to Silver City, Grant County through economic development and tourism. Now, therefore, I, Ken Ladner, Mayor of the Town of Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico, in view of the inherent value of this, do hereby proclaim September 17, 2016, as Stand Up, Stand Out, and Stand Proud Day, and urge all citizens to attend and enjoy our first annual Gay Pride celebration. So,
thank you very much.
Would you like to say anything? Or?
Yeah, I would. Just a couple words. I am really actually very excited to have received this, and we all are very excited in our group, LGBT Grant County. And I wanted to just mention one thing to Councilor Cano. There is a handicap access to the patio. It's off of Market Street. And then off of Texas Street, there's an access up into the Elks Club, or Elks, how do you call it? The old Elks Club. Okay, and so I just want to just say, so Saturday, it's an all-day thing from 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock out on Market Street. We'll have two stages, one stage on the patio of the old Elks Club, and then one stage on Market Street. We're expecting about 30 vendors, including many organizations like Equality New Mexico, SAS, Sexual Assault Support Services. There will be HIV testing. There will be the Center for Gender Equity from WNMU will be there, and just numerous organizations are coming to, and we're hoping it'll be a real party atmosphere. We're going to be working all day Friday and early morning Saturday decorating, so we're very excited about this. And don't forget the puppy dog drag show, that's at noon. So thank you very much, I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Susan. The next item on the agenda is public input. And we have 2 people that have signed up. I'd like to remind you that by city ordinance, there's a 5-minute limit for the input. The first person to sign up was Dr. Mark Donnell.
Mayor Ladner, members of the City Council, good to see you all again. For others in the audience, for those of you who may not know me, my name is Dr. Mark Donnell. I've been a Silver City resident and an anesthesiologist at Gila Regional Medical Center for the last 22 years. I'm also the Assistant Medical Director of the Gila Regional Emergency Medical Services. It has been 3 months now since officers of the Silver City Police Department stopped Grant County District Attorney Francesca Martinez-Esteves for impaired driving. In my opinion, the video from the private citizen's dash cam and the police officer's lapel cameras, which are still available on krqe.com, clearly show Ms. Martinez-Esteves to have been severely impaired, probably due to intoxication with drugs or medication. Had she been anyone else, she would have been arrested and taken to jail. Our police chief has said as much in subsequent interviews. Again, in my opinion, she was a danger to everyone in Silver City who happened to be driving in her vicinity that day. We have a zero tolerance for driving under the influence in this country, and that needs to include our elected officials. No one, especially the district attorney, is above the law. I had hoped by this time that she would have had the personal integrity to resign her office as a district attorney, but that has not happened. In fact, she is continuing to run for re-election for district attorney, and she has no candidate opposing her. This is not acceptable, and it has become clear that public pressure will be necessary to force her to vacate her position as the chief law enforcement attorney in Grant County. I am therefore asking the Silver City Town Council to take a leadership position on this issue and to pass a resolution calling for the resignation of Grant County District Attorney Francesca Martinez-Esteves. If for any reason the council is unable to do this, I would ask that you at least pass a resolution of no confidence in the district attorney. I hope that you will consider this very serious issue as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Donnell. Next on our list is Julia Robinson. Ms. Robinson?
Good evening. My name is Julia Robinson. A year ago, I bought an abandoned house at 710 West Kelly. One of the city council members has advised me that a house or property isn't really abandoned as long as the taxes are current. But in my vocabulary, an abandoned house is one where no one has lived for at least 2 years and no one is maintaining the property. In my humble opinion, Silver City has too many properties in the historic district that fit that description. The pictures I am submitting are from the property just east of mine. I've asked code enforcement to review the property for ordinance violations, but the code officer assures me that there are none. The owner lives in Tucson and keeps her taxes paid. But all the debris on the ground is not only an eyesore to the neighborhood, but seems to my neighbors and me to be dangerous, both as a fire hazard and a rodent breeding ground. The large branches hanging over my roof worry me every time it storms, as branches have fallen recently from these trees onto the adjacent lot. I think it is probably only a matter of time until one will land on my roof. Code enforcement suggested that the neighbors all get together and clean up the lot, if we are so concerned about it, and perhaps we will. But as I walk downtown on Kelly Street, I pass not just this lot, but several properties that are neglected, if not legally abandoned. I love Silver City, and I'm sad that empty old houses are allowed to sit vacant for years as the roofs and porches decay and invasive species grow up in the yards. It speaks poorly of us as citizens to allow this, and can't help but discourage visitors who are looking for a nice place to live. Most of the owners of these houses live out of state, and sadly, paying the taxes seems to be the only responsibility they accept for these properties. When I appeared before the Historic Design Review Committee last year, previous to starting my renovation process, they were sympathetic with my concern about neglected properties, but also repeated what code enforcement and the city councilor have said. There are no ordinances to prevent anyone from owning a house or piece of property and then not taking care of it. I would encourage you as a council, to reconsider why there aren't ordinances to protect the integrity of housing in the historic district. I realize that establishing a tree council or enforcing laws that govern abandoned vehicles or neglected property costs money. And I've been reminded by code enforcement and council members that it is this lack of money that is at the root of the problem. Nevertheless, if Silver City is to prosper, property in the historic district must be addressed in the next long-range plan, and hopefully even sooner, with tighter ordinances and strategies to enforce cleanup. I invite any and all of you to visit my neighborhood and see this neglected lot for yourself. If I can be helpful in any way, I volunteer my services as a retired research librarian to help find a way around the deplorable conditions of some housing in the historic district. Those of us who have invested money and time fixing up our properties will appreciate your attention to trying to find a solution to this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is council comments. Before council comments are given, I would like to announce that Councilor and Mayor Pro Tem Cynthia Beddiston was elected as treasurer by the New Mexico Municipal League's Board of Directors at its annual conference this month. Councilor Beddiston has been very active in the New Mexico Municipal League. In addition to this new office, she has served as a director-at-large on the Municipal League since 2011 and has also served on many of their committees since 2009. So on behalf of the town of Silver City, I would like to congratulate you, Councilor Beddiston, for this significant achievement. Congratulations. Now let's go to councilor comments. Councilor Beddiston.
Mayor, thank you very much, and I want to thank the Silver City Town Council and all of the staff for their support in my candidacy for the office of New Mexico Municipal League Treasurer. My term begins on October 1st, and I am very honored to have been elected by my peers in the 106 municipalities that make up the league to this office. The executive office brings with it a number of good things for Silver City and for our southern folks, because there are very few current board members, or at least executive officers, that are from the southern part below I-40. There's a few, and so I'm just really pleased to be able to make sure that we all have a voice and that the league is well represented and diversified across the state in terms of who's on the league's executive board. So once again, I want to thank everyone, and I especially want to thank Ann Mackey and our town clerk and Councilor Guadalupe Cano and town community development director Jamie Ambeck, and a number of other town folks that were there that went around and encouraged people from different municipalities, those voting representatives that were there, to make sure that they would vote for me for that position. So I just am truly honored and have difficulty explaining how honored I am, but I am. And thank you, Mayor, for mentioning it tonight and for your very nice words. I also wanted to let folks know that whenever we attend a town council, a municipal league annual meeting like that, we have the ability, if we're Molly graduates, Municipal Official Leadership Institute graduates, like Councilor Cano and I are, to be able to get credits towards our recertification. It's not anything fancy in terms of recertification, it's just that it's an acknowledgement that we've attended. And one of the things that I do is I always try to go to the community service event, and this year, the mayor suggested I do this. Much to my chagrin, I was put on the front page of the Hobbs News Sun because we had a whole thing with their adoption center. And so at some point, you'll hear more about this adoption center and what I would hope that we could be able to do something like it. It took Hobbs working with its Humane Society and other groups 8 years to get to the point where they are officially a no-kill shelter. And they don't call themselves a shelter. They don't call themselves the Pound. They're an adoption center. And I just have to say, people were happy and pleased to come in, bringing their animals in to, to be spayed or neutered. They were adopting animals while we were there. They adopted a total of 14 animals while the league was there. Almost 15 municipal officials were there because it was pouring. They couldn't really go play golf in the golf tournament. So they came and helped out. And they actually, on their shot clinic that they give, they're free shots. They gave 1,000 vaccinations to animals free of charge. And despite the pouring rain, every single person that came in there was smiling, and every animal was having a great time because we were all in there walking them and, socializing them. It was really quite wonderful. So just wanted to mention that. And I also want to publicly thank Senator Howie Morales for coming to the business meeting on Thursday, September 1st, and speaking to the Municipal League officials that were there, representatives from each community of the 106 that we have, as well as board members and other folks, and basically talking about the hold harmless, the issues with the state's finances and the deficit that's spanning 3 years. It's coming up to close to $1 billion, and he really was true to form. He is such a senator that really understands municipalities and counties and how they work, and how the funds and the taxes that municipalities and counties have are really integral to us serving you. And so he just made sure that we all knew that a promise was made in 2013 that the hold harmless would always stay there. It would not be taken away from us. And it was then rescinded when another sort of roll-down tax was born, the hold harmless gross receipts tax, to replace that. As I think, as you remember from the last meeting, we talked about how every year for the next 15 years we're losing 6% of our hold harmless GRT, which amounts to 22% of our general fund, and $1.7 million. That's a lot of money, and there's no way to prepare for that. So I would just encourage you to thank Senator Morales. He just wanted to ensure that all of us knew that with a promise made and a promise broken, not to give up anything, to fight for the taxes, to fight for what municipal taxes and county taxes are already out there, so that, and not to give anything or not to concede anything, because if we do, then everything will be taken. So I just really appreciate his support, and everyone else in the league did as well. So there's a really great article in the Hobbs News Sun that was News Sun that was in there, and I'll make sure and we'll ask that a copy be available at the clerk's office if people would like to see what comments he made. It was very well covered. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Bassett. Councilor Cano?
Thank you, Mayor. It's been a busy few weeks for me. As Pro Tem Medicine has talked about, we've been on the road a lot to several events, and we'll actually be leaving in the morning again to another Municipal Officials Leadership Institute training. I just returned from the 38th Annual Conference on Aging, There were a lot of resources available, especially for rural communities. So I'm hoping that there can be some collaboration with groups such as the Community Health Council to provide some more opportunities for seniors in the near future. That's what we're working on. Also at that event, at that conference, I had the honor of nominating Mario Quintana, several of you know him, for an award called the K. Rose Wood Award. It's given to an active senior in New Mexico who is impacting their community in a large way. And for those of you that for some reason don't know Mario, because it seems like he knows everybody, he is the coordinator of Senior Olympics, and he's been very involved with getting seniors to live a more healthy lifestyle. So he was very excited to receive that award, especially because he received it along with a gentleman who actually founded Senior Olympics. So it was a good day for seniors. I just have a couple of comments or concerns about downtown that I'd like to address. First of all, there seems to be a growing number of signs being put out on sidewalks by businesses. I understand the need to advertise, but some of those signs are actually larger than sandwich board size at this point, and they're starting to block ramps and also direct access to sidewalks, which is a concern for me. Also, some of the signs, even the sandwich boards, are being placed directly in the middle of the sidewalk, which makes it difficult for anyone with a stroller, a wheelchair, or any other assistive device to walk downtown. I'm not sure if there's an ordinance for this, but if this is going to continue, I'd like to work with Mr. Scavron to develop something, because, there is, okay, then we need to enforce it, please, because it's getting a little out of hand. There are several spots where you can't even get onto the sidewalk because the signs are so big in the middle of the street. The other concern I have is I spend almost every Saturday morning that I'm in town at a local restaurant downtown. It happens to be on the corner of Bullard and 7th, and my view from the window always allows me to watch the intersection of those two streets very closely. The stop signs have been up for quite some time now, so there's really no excuse for anyone to be running them at this point. That includes bicyclists. This past Saturday, I watched several bicyclists blow through that intersection. Some of them were on the wrong side of the street, some of them were on the sidewalk. So I've also watched vehicles making U-turns, parking illegally in the middle of the street, I mean quite literally in the middle of the street. And also people bringing their pets downtown and not realizing or not caring that there's a leash law, and also that you need to pick up their excrement if they leave it on the sidewalk. So I'm hoping that possibly there can be more patrols in that area. I think there's walking or even just officers driving by and actually citing people. I think it's time to start citing them, because that's the only way they're going to learn to stop running that stop sign. I know there's so many people walking there on Saturday mornings that it really, I mean, someone's going to get hit. I'm just waiting to see that, and it's going to be really terrible if that happens. So if we could work on that, I would really appreciate it. And come on, public, don't run the stop sign. You know it's there. Oh, and stoplights too. It's my turn to say, please stop at stoplights. If it's a red light, you need to stop. I was almost hit twice today by the same car, amazingly, running stoplights in town. So, just yellow means slow down and red means stop. So, thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Cano. Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to congratulate an officer from Silver City Police Department. It was mentioned to me by the staff from Jose Barrios, Mr. Salvador Quintana. He had been patrolling there at the area, and he did see firsthand some of the people on cell phones and speeding and all that through the school district. And again, Chief, may you tell your officer thank you. And also another thing is that I apologize because I wanted to have this NOI done for the motorcycles, I'm sorry, for the UTVs and ATVs for this coming meeting, but due to the things that have happened here recently, it was not quite possible to do it. So I apologize to you, because I did want to have it for this meeting, but for next meeting, for sure, I will have it done, the language to present to my fellow people here. And with that, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Ray. Councilor Amon Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a few things. I want to note that in the Community Development Department, Jamie Embick, the director, is continuing with community meetings with the comprehensive plan. And so those folks who are interested in areas like housing, services, economic development, transportation, she'll be doing meetings that address each one of those categories. She's going to keep on trying to get people engaged and involved because it's really important. And again, I want to say that part of the comprehensive plan that I'm really interested in is traffic management. And the mayor is borrowing this next. So soon we're all going to know the best research on traffic calming. The executive director of the Southwest New Mexico Green Chamber of Commerce asked me to announce, because she's putting out some marketing materials, but she wants to have folks know that Mr. Brian Cunningham from our hospital will be talking with the Green Chamber this Thursday, 9/15, at 5:30 p.m. in the back room of the Little Toad. So come in and find out directly from a person who's really knowledgeable more about why there might be a 4 mil bond coming out, or there will be a bond referendum for us to vote on. And the last thing I want to say is I hope that a lot of people enter the doggy drag, because I'm really interested in that. And also the Red Hot Children's Fiesta is going to be going on this weekend, so it'll be a great time to be downtown. Thank you.
Does the council have any other comments? Just in the way of announcement, later this week I'll be going to Albuquerque to attend the Mayor's Summit, and I'm really looking forward to that because there'll be mayors from New Mexico there and all over New Mexico, and I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of them and talking with them and seeing what sort of common grounds we have and what sort of ideas that I can pick up. The next item on the agenda is changes to the agenda. Does the council want to make any changes to the agenda? Okay, no changes. Next item, number 7, is the approval of minutes of the August 23, 2016 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Hold on a
Councilor.
second. Let me get myself ready here. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 23rd, 2016.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
Councilor Bedison? Is there any discussion? Those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is reports. Under item 8A, we have with us tonight Mr. Raul Torrieta, Grant County Assessor, and he will report on a 4 mil increase for the hospital. Mr. Torrieta?
Thank you, Mayor and councilors. I don't know if Ben in the back has to hook me up, because I do have a small presentation. And here he comes. It's really nice to have these screens. It makes it a lot. I guess I was the first one that did a presentation for the county commissioners meeting, so I was kind of happy about that. And I apologize for my tardiness. I was doing a presentation at the Hurley Town Council. Thank you, Ben. Okay, here we go. My name is Raul Torrieta, and I'm your Grant County Assessor. And we've been discussing the issue about the hospital with the 4 meals. And here today is Mr. Cunningham also, and we've been communicating back and forth on what's going on and what we're going to be facing next on this election for November the 8th. You know, for the Grand County Assessor's Office, I actually created a mission statement and also our goals, and to distribute the burden of the ad valorem tax enhanced by the tax authorities to all taxable properties fairly and equitable. To appraise all properties in independent, accurate, honest, ethical manners conforming to the New Mexico Constitution statute. Professional standards. And that's also on my website. What we're going to be talking about is actually the evaluation authorities. And all 33 counties under state assessed properties, property tax division, and taxation revenue department. Your tax authorities, you're looking at the citizen voters, state of New Mexico bonds only, on all counties, municipalities, towns, village, school districts, community college, special districts, flood control, tax increments, development districts, and water association and livestock boards. Matter of fact, today the County Commission passed our rates, our certificate of tax rate, and everything pretty much stayed the same. We were up about 18 million on our valuation, and that's net taxable value, and that's including copper production, local assessment, and state assessed. Under 2016 New Mexico Statute, Chapter 4 on counties, the Section 4-48B12, the tax levy authorities. Number 2, in county mill levies shall not exceed over 4.25 mills, and that's on each taxable value per thousand. The assessors implements the tax authorities. So my job is, and once it gets to the tax, to the voters, they vote on it, and it does pass. I actually set the authorities, and then I take it on over to the county treasurer's office, and they do the distribution, and this distribution goes straight to the hospital. And we're talking about 4 mills. A resolution was passed in August. As a matter of fact, it's kind of hard to read, and I'm not going to read it, but it was a resolution where it's going to be placed on the ballot this November 8th for the 4 mil increase for the hospital. I would like to express that the Grand County rates that are imposed, our remaining rate, we're all maxed out on our non-residential side and our residential side. And that's one of the reasons why the hospital is going to do the 4 mil increase under that Chapter 4. On the weighted average on property tax in mills, and I'm talking about the whole 33 counties here in the state of New Mexico, Grand County on the residential side is only 16.325 mills. On the non-residential is like vacant land. You're looking at also commercial properties is at 22.113, and that's the weighted mean. Copper production is also at 21.561. So we are second to the lowest out of all 33 counties. And I do have a map where it's going to show where all the districts are for the 2016 tax district, and that's kind of small to see also. In Silver City, on our full value to our net taxable value, I'm not including net taxable value at this moment. So let's just go ahead and use the 2015 total tax rate. I didn't have a chance to enter our 2016 rate, but it didn't really change all that much. On the 1M residential, in a $50,000 home, your taxable value is $16,000, and your taxes would increase $65 per year. That's on a $50,000 home. On an $80,000 home, it would increase $106.66 per year. On a $100,000 home, it's $133,033. On a $100,000 home. On a $150,000 home, you're looking at $200, and $200,000 home is $266.64. If you have the head of household or the veteran exemption, if it's a head of household, you'll get an exemption of $35.55. and they're all the same. I don't care what the value of the home is. On a veteran exemption, and that's a $4,000 off your taxable, to your net taxable will be $71.10. So total minus is going to be about $106.65. The majority of the property owners do have the head of household, and anybody that can sign up for the head of household has to be the primary residence and have to be living there more than 6 months. And we do monitor that there at the county assessor's office. I also broke it down into outside the city limits with that rate. You can see what the taxes are plus the $65 and what the total rate would be. And we're just talking about taxable value. We're not talking about net taxable value, okay? I broke it down also in Santa Clara, and I will probably do the same presentation in Santa Clara and in Baird. And once again, I did it today in Hurley. So I have it all broken down by the rates plus adding the 4 meals. And once again, it all stays the same. As you can see, whatever the valuation of the $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 homes, it's all the same. On our net taxable value, these are the numbers that I certify in June. And then we get our certificate of tax rate, and it does fluctuate. And matter of fact, we went over all the numbers with the county commission. So if you look at the non-residential rate, and that's including cattle, you're looking at $206,199,516 net taxable value. So if you just impose, and we're just talking about the 4 meals here, we're not talking about the 17 meals for the town of Silver City or the non-residential at 21 meals. This is just the 4 meals extra that's going to go straight to the hospital. On the residential side, and that's everything to do with residential, and excuse me, let me back off. On the non-residential total, that's also state assessed property, and we're at about $153 million on that one. So on the residential side, it's about $410,546,489, and that'll generate $1,642,186. Copper production, they also certify in June, and that number also fluctuates, and it ended up at $224,777,848, and that'll also generate $899,111. So the total valuation of all the county, copper production, state assessed, local assessment, residential, non-residential, is $841,523,853. So that's going to generate on a 4 mil, you're looking about 22% on property tax at $3,366,095. And I do stand for questions, Mayor and Council. Councilor Patterson.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Turrieta, on the millage rate for the town of Silver City, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that the town of Silver City has a fairly low mill rate, and that mill rate that you have up there is the county mill rate plus the towns. It's not just the towns.
No, I'm separating everything. No, exactly.
So
if you have the 1 in or 1 out, 2B, 2C, all those millages are different.
Right.
Yes, the one in town of Silver City is a lot lower than the ones in Baird, Santa Clara, and Hurley.
Do you have those figures, or Mr.
Yes.
Brown, do you have them where what the mill rate is that the town actually gets versus what the county
Absolutely.
gets from town residents?
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure that people understand, yeah.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's why I brought all these other Baird and residential taxable values. You see all the difference on
Right.
the millage? Let's start off with Silver City. It's .017776. Then you go over to, sorry about that. Then you go over to, oh, come on, cut it out wrong. I get a little bit more on this one. Yeah, everyone's going to have a different kind of a millage on that, okay? And yes, Silver City has a pretty low millage, and that's inside the Silver City limits, it's .17. And then the one outside the Silver City, as you can see, it's .015101. So that's a lot lower because it's outside the Silver City limits, and they're not collecting taxes on the municipals. That's why that millage is a lot lower on the residential side.
So on the millage rate for the county, it's without having a municipality involved, it's .015101.
That is correct.
So that means that Silver City's millage rate is,
No, it's 1.6, yeah, that's 2.6, yeah, exactly, and that's just for the town of Silver City. And that millage where you see that .01776, that's included.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure folks knew that the county millage rate was already included and Silver City's is lower.
That is correct.
And the schools.
Exactly. You combine them all where you have the municipalities, I call them the munis, and then you have the schools, and then the debt, the state debt, county operational, and county debt service, that's all included in there. So everything's in there. And that's from the one out, one in, 2B, 2C, 2H, and 2 out.
I think the reason why I want to make this point is that I want people to understand that the town doesn't get all of that.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
That it's, and so to think that we are getting all of that within the town, that they have to understand that there's a breakout within that total number.
I would like to do a chart on that, and if I may, I can do that real easy. Yes, that's included with the state operational, state debt service, county operational, county debt service, the municipalities, the school, and that's all on the .0177. Then on top of that, that's where the 4 meals will go directly and just straight to the hospital.
Right. No, and I'm just trying to make that point, that those certain things go to directly certain to certain entities.
Yes.
Because one of the things that we talked about at the Municipal League annual meeting, in the business meeting, is that many of our residents don't understand that whatever taxes or millage that we're collecting, we don't get it all.
Exactly.
And so I just wanted to make that point that there's a lot less on the municipal side for Silver City than there is maybe in other municipalities, because we're pretty low, I think, comparatively across the
Very
state.
low. Yes, ma'am, very low.
Okay, that's the point I was just trying to make, is that so folks know.
And if I may, come Tuesday of next week, I've already entered all my numbers into our system. I will get you a copy of our warrant, and I'll get you a copy of our abstract. The warrant and the abstract is going to break down complete every penny where it's going to, the municipalities, the schools, and also the debt service, and you can have that information. It's public information, and it's really interesting, because once you start running the numbers, it shows you exactly where everything is going.
Well, I appreciate you talking about this and answering my question, because usually this discussion about what's going on in the town or the county happens when I'm getting my hair done.
Yeah.
Getting a haircut, and also I'm getting asked all these questions, and then I try to explain it, and they go, but no, you get it all. And so I just want to make sure that the public understands that, just like other entities, the hospital is requesting only this amount to go to them, whereas there's only other amounts that are lower that go to other entities
That is correct.
already in the collective 1N res that you've got up there for Silver City
And
total.
I can understand, when I go to Walmart and pick up 3 items, it takes me about
that's
an
right.
hour and 13 minutes to get out, so I can understand that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions? Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Turrieta, this mill that you guys are proposing, does it affect just the property owners or people in general?
It actually is it's the property owners only.
It's the property, I don't think that's fair.
You know what,
Because there's a lot of people that, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people that are elderly people, and they need that money.
I understand that.
And to add some more tax to them, but they cannot afford it,
You see, and that's one of the reasons that I'm here. I want to let everybody know. That's why I went to Hurley, I'm going to go to Baird, and I'll be in Santa Clara, and I'll go to the senior centers and let them know. You have the opportunity to vote it, or you have the opportunity not to vote on it.
But people, it's for every voter, right? It's for every voter,
That is
and there's not that many people that have property throughout the county.
Renters can also vote on this, that is correct. As long as you're a voter, yes, and you have some really good points there, Councilman Ray.
But I hope the people understand that it's just affecting us property owners, nobody else.
That's exactly right, and that's one of the reasons where I want to be aware of everybody. I want to try to tell as much people that there is a tax hike, and just be prepared if it passes. That's the only job that I have, is to create those authorities.
Okay, I still think you should take into consideration the elderly people.
Yes, and that's the responsibility of the hospital. And then, Mr. Cunningham will probably give a presentation why they're going to want, the 4 meal increase for the hospital and so on. My job is just to create those authorities.
I understand that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Consul.
Thank you, Councilor Ray. Any other questions from the council? Any other questions from the council? Robert?
I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
So this tax rate increase is going to affect property owners,
That is correct.
and the people voting for this tax increase will be only the property owners or everybody?
That would be anybody that votes on November the 8th.
And that's specifically provided for in this Chapter 4?
That is correct. And like I said, once again, you could be a renter, anybody that votes on the general elections in November 8th.
Okay, and that specifically is provided for in the hospital
And
because
the
there's...
formulas, yes,
Because the general prohibition in the New Mexico Constitution is that property owners get to vote.
yes.
So this Chapter 4 is an exception to the Constitution?
You know what, that was brought up, I spoke to the county attorney about that, and that would be another legal matter there, due to the Constitution or the statute, or the state statute.
Some inquiries have been made to me,
Yes.
and I've tried to give an answer, and the answer may or may not be the same as the county attorney's.
And I knew that issue was going to come up, seeing what oversees the Constitution, also the state statute. And I'm so glad you brought that up. Because if you look at the Constitution, it would be the only people that would actually could vote on this would be actually the property owners. And I did read that portion of the Constitution. And I'm so glad you brought that up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toriata, for bringing that to us.
Well, you know what, I want to thank you and Ms. Smith, at that last chamber meeting, I said I would love to, and you were there, Mayor, just to let the property owners be aware of what's going on. And, there's going to be quite a few questions going to be asked, not only for the hospital, but anything that I can answer on where your taxes are going to be, please contact me at the county assessor's office.
Okay, thank you again.
Thank you, Mayor, council.
Next item on the agenda is 8B, staff reports. Mr. Brown?
Mayor and Council, first of all, I need to report in the town council minutes that the town's budget has been approved by DFA, the final budget. So that's just one thing. Right now, along with what Councilor Bedison was talking about with the hold harmless, we're following that very close. James is actually at the Revenue Stabilization and Taxation Subcommittee meeting that is being held in Albuquerque tomorrow morning. They'll be talking about a lot of these issues, and he'll be getting you guys reports on what occurs at the meeting. So we want to keep very close tabs on what's being said and where they're going to be headed. Okay, and then Councilor Bedison also asked me to reaffirm, as far as we know, Denny's is still coming in. Everybody they're a private entity, they have their own timeline, we don't have any control, everything has been approved. In fact, we've already done our infrastructure side of it. So that's still, as far as we know, nobody has called us to say that they're not going to do it. Otherwise, everything is in place for them. And then Robert was going to do a very short report on political signs in town.
Really short. Okay. Yes, thank you, Alex. There's been some inquiries being made into the time limit on putting up election signs. So I just want to address that very narrow issue. Last year, there was a seminal case out of the United States Supreme Court. It was Reed versus the town of Gilbert, Arizona. And it was a 9-0 decision, so it's unlikely it's going to be changed in a new administration. But it dealt with municipality regulating signs. And while it did not address or change the ability of a town to regulate the size and placement of signs, it did state that any regulation that of a sign that was content or category based would be subject to a strict scrutiny. We have an ordinance, we have a sign ordinance, and in that sign ordinance it states that political signs for elections can only go up 60 days beforehand, and then they have to come down, I forget, 30 days or whatever after the election. Are you giving me the peace sign, or? 7 days. 7 days, okay. My interpretation of the court case is, and the interpretations are all over the board now, every judicial district in the United States is dealing with this Reed case, and some of them are expanding it, some are making it more limiting, but I look at our ordinance that takes a category, political signs, and puts a limitation on it that is not applicable to other signs. And I think that that would be wrong, and I've instructed our people not to enforce that sign, that portion of the sign ordinance. It is a category of political signs. So, if a candidate has permission of the owner, and if the size of the sign meets the existing regulations for size, that sign can stay up all year. There is no 60-day limitation or 7 days to take it down regulation. I just wanted that to be out because I know that there are probably candidates for office that are putting signs up in Silver City that are waiting for the 60-day period, and I would like them to be informed that that particular portion of our sign regulation may be invalid, and we're taking the safe course of not enforcing it. There are a couple organizations I belong to are working on model ordinances that are going to deal with the Reed case in the broadest sense, but at this point, the best course I think that we can take is to tell people that that 60-day limitation will not be enforced, nor the 7 days afterwards.
Any questions from the council? Councilor Bettison?
So, when we get phone call after phone call about the fact that signs are up for forever, should we direct them to you? I'm sorry, I mean, it's already happened. I've had some folks that were Bernie supporters saying, well, we had to take our signs down, when we put them up early.
The law is evolving. We've taken a position of what we think should be enforced and what's not going to be enforced. In that case, the only aspect that our ordinance runs in the face of is the restriction on making a category of political signs and imposing a restriction on that category that is not applicable to other categories of signs. And the Supreme Court said that looks like it's not content neutral. If you have a regulation that applies across the board to everybody and it has nothing to do with the content, that's still okay. But this is picking out political signs, segregating it out from all other kinds of signs, and putting a restriction on there, and that restriction, I believe, is now unconstitutional according to the Supreme Court. So we are not enforcing it. And to tell, the word will get out now, because I'm sure everybody is paying attention to, I've already did a memorandum to Ann, which has been distributed over to the county. So I believe that the word is out. Did it go to the county?
The county clerk's office.
The county clerk's office. So we've done what we need to do to inform the parties that are most concerned.
So the restrictions on size are still fine.
Yes, nothing else has been affected other than the restriction on when you can put it up and when you have to take it down.
And I can see the point you're making. I can also see the other side of the coin, which is if I get tired of all the election stuff, I can throw the circular, whatever I get in the recycle bin, or I don't have to turn on my TV. But now, what was, I thought, generous allotment of time is going to be something where people, and I understand, I'm just making a statement that people are going to say, well, that's the one thing I can't control. It's going to be everywhere, it'll be all the time, and the election cycle will go on forever, and it'll never stop. And I think that that's part of what, in total, most Americans are saying. Doesn't matter what party you are or anything, they're just a little overwhelmed with everything going on for so long. And I think that in looking at the law and looking at what's going forward, I think that that's something that should be taken into consideration, is that it's just, I know we can't do that now, I know we're doing the safest thing, but at the same time, I just hope that in looking at this, that they're actually thinking of some way where we're not bombarded in another way that we can't control with any kind of...
There's still the permission of the owner is required.
Right.
The political signs, any signs, cannot be posted on city land or city poles.
Or state.
Or state. So it has to do with individuals. If they want to put a sign up, I love my dog, and that sign stays up year-round, but you put up a sign saying vote for Dwight D. Eisenhower, that sign cannot be discriminated against.
But the landowner can put restrictions on how long it's up.
Correct.
That's the key point. Then there, the landowner makes the decision that you can put them up, but it's got to be taken down pretty quickly. I don't want it up the whole year type thing. It's up to the landowner to make that decision. That wouldn't be discrimination, would it?
No, it's private property.
Okay,
You have the
just
right
making
to
sure.
regulate your private property.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Councilor Kano, you had a comment? Councilor Amon Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Scavone. I actually went and read that case, though I am not an attorney. So one of my points is it within our enforcement powers to verify that there's permission from the landowner to have a sign posted? I know that there's a lot on which there are a number of signs, and I looked at the landowner and actually wrote that landowner who lives in Hawaii. So if the thing is that the landowner is the only person who's able to say yes or no, but signs are being put on the property, as far as I can tell, without the landowner's permission, do we have any power to inquire in that?
Off the top of my head, I would say no. I would say that it's a private action of trespass, and that's up to the owner to enforce it, not the town.
Thank you. So that leaves us with no recourse when owners who are part of the family trust in Hawaii have signs proliferated on their lot that will irritate me all year long. Is that what it is?
I would say prepare to be irritated.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brown?
I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Bedison?
Thank you. I'd like to move for a short break, please.
Okay, how long?
Enough time.
Okay.
5 minutes.
10 minutes?
We'll have a 5-minute break. Is there a second to that motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
5-minute break.
I call this town council meeting back to order. The next item on the agenda requiring action is the approval/disapproval of a public celebration permit application and a waiver of NMSA 1978 60-6B-10 of the prohibition of the dispensing of alcoholic beverages within 300 feet of a church or school. Event information. The Red Dot Art Fest, sponsored by the Silver City Art Association, to be held on October 7th, 2016, with alcohol service from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Seed Boat Gallery, 214 West Yankee Street, Silver City, New Mexico. Liquor license holder information, La Esperanza Vineyard, LLC, number 6148, 100 De Lao, San Lorenzo, New Mexico, 88041. I believe that Rebecca Martin, and co-chair of the Silver City Art Association, and David Garreau, owner of La Esperanza Vineyard, will make this request. Please come forward and make your presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, councilors. And yes, we are here to request a public celebration permit to launch the Red Dot Art Fest this year, which we're expanding to a full 10 days from just having like gallery walks on weekends, with the anticipation of attracting more folks to the lovely town of Silver City to hopefully stay at least one more day than they would have stayed. That's our ultimate goal in having a celebration to launch it, and to make it a full celebration. We feel a little bit of locally crafted wine and beer would enhance that greatly. So that is the purpose of our request.
Any questions from the council? Councilor Bedington?
Mayor, I just wanted to note to whoever reads the item, it's De La O, not De La O. It's De La O is the address for La Esperanza. So it's
They should put De
La O, yeah. So I just want to make sure that it's said that way, yeah, for the address. Thank you.
Any questions from the council?
I guess I have one question.
Councilor Amon Smith?
Thank you. So in your application, it said that you were going to be having IDs checked at the entrance. There's a kind of an entrance and an exit to the Seed Boat Gallery.
Yes.
So is that you're going to have staff from your organization or other folks doing that?
And one from Esperanza as well. Yes.
Because I saw that there are 2 servers from Esperanza, so it's going to be kind of busy.
We are. We hope.
I guess that's something that every council, when we see one of these, we want an assurance that no one underage is going to be partaking.
David would like to speak to that.
Absolutely, that is by law. Even now at the Wine Fest we just concluded in Las Cruces, even though they check everybody as they come in, it is the wine holder's responsibility to also challenge anybody that they think is underage. So we have that right, even though they may be banded or not banded in this case.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Do I hear a motion? Councilor Ray?
I move to approve of a public celebration permit application and a waiver of NMSA 1978 60-6B-10 of the prohibition of dispensing of alcoholic beverages within 300 feet of a church or school. In event information, the Red Dot Art Fest, sponsored by the Silver City Arts Association, to be held on October 7th, 2016, with alcohol service from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Seed Boat Gallery, 214 West Yankee Street, Silver City, New Mexico. License holder information, La Esperanza Vineyard, LLC, number 6148, 100 De La O, San Lorenzo, New Mexico, 88041.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion as stated.
Councilor Cano? Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Anybody that wants tickets or programs, TV.
Thank you. Thank you. And the next item on the agenda is 11B, approval/disapproval of resolution number 2016-23, authorizing the town manager to execute documents on behalf of the town of Silver City pertaining to two agreements between the town of Silver City and the Interstate Stream Commission. Mr. Brown?
Madam Council, basically what these are is, we've received the contracts for the awards from the grants, the $500,000 grant for the meters, and I believe it's $23,000 for the sprinkler system. I'm not exactly sure on that amount, but I believe it's 18 or 23, one of those two. And they just require a resolution authorizing me to sign the agreement. This is something that's new over the last few years from the state government. That's what you hired me to do, but now they want you to put in a resolution for every individual grant, as well as the mayor as well, to submit grants and those types of things. And he's authorized statutorily to do it, but still they want a resolution. So that's what, these are the last things I need for the grant. And everything actually is already there. They're just waiting for the resolution. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Brown?
No.
Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Bedison?
Thank you. I move to approve resolution number 2016-23, authorizing the town manager to execute documents on behalf of the town of Silver City pertaining to two agreements between the town of Silver City and the Interstate Stream Commission. Mr. Mayor?
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or any discussion?
No, sir.
Would you do a roll call, please, Ann?
Councilor Benson?
Aye.
Councilor Amos Smith? Aye. Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Connor? Aye.
Okay, Councilor Bedison, Councilor Kano, Councilor Ray, and Councilor Amos Smith all voted aye, right? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is 11C, the approval/disapproval of executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1, parentheses, H, close parentheses, parentheses 2, close parentheses, regarding limited personnel matters to discuss the town manager's contract. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor?
Council Amon Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to go into executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1H2, regarding limited personnel matters to discuss the town manager's contract.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Bedison.
I second the motion as stated.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Benson?
Aye.
Councilor Amos Smith?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Connor? Aye.
Councilor Bedison, Councilor Kano, Councilor Ray, Councilor Amon Smith, all voted yes. Is that right? Okay. We will take a short recess, then go into executive session. We will take no action when we return to the open meeting. Is that accurate, Mr. Scavron?
You will take no action during executive session.
Okay.
And the only matters that will be discussed is the one that's mentioned in the motion.
Okay, thank you. then the motion passes.
My stuff over here. I move that we come back out of executive session and state for the record that the only things that we discussed were what the motion pertained to. Is that appropriate?
Yeah.
Got it? Second the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
No, we have to do a roll call.
Roll call.
Yeah, roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Can we?
Now we have to have a motion to adjourn.
We adjourn at 7:58.
Executive session. Now we have to do a motion.
Now there's a
to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn this meeting.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, so
Motion
that's...
carries.